So the review embargo has been lifted for the Knuckles Paramount Plus series, and this could be pretty bad. Sonic Twitter is already on the case. You see the trend on Twitter right here. Knuckles takes the spotlight, a Sonic showdown on Paramount Plus, and extremely predictably, Sonic fans are abuzz with mixed reactions. Highlight on mixed reactions. Now, reviewers have already seen the show. Personally, I have not, and most people who are commenting about the show have not actually seen it yet, so that's something that's very important to take into account. We have a very interesting predicament on our hands. We have an issue here. It's pretty complex, and it's really hard to determine what the right answer is to this problem. We're gonna get into that, but before we do that, if you love Sonic, make sure to subscribe to the channel with all notifications. We do everything Sonic over here every single day. You never know what type of Sonic video is going to be uploaded next year. Subscribe to the channel. I'll give you a second. And let's get into the crazy discussion about the Knuckles Paramount Plus series. Perhaps I'm some sort of prophet. For those of you who are fans of the channel, you will know that 1 year ago, I made a video referencing this specific problem that may arise, and it seems like that is the case for the Knuckles series. But now that the series has been revealed, that problem may be true, but now there may be a host of new problems. So to start off, here is the biggest issue with the Knuckles TV show. It says, this is a review from Kotaku. There's tons of reviews out there, and maybe we'll do a stream going over everything, but it says right here that Knuckles is barely in his own Paramount Plus show. And as you can see, that is a huge problem for Sonic fans. A lot of discourse is happening, but to sum up the video I talked about a year ago, here's the plot synopsis of the show, and this is why it led to something that I knew would potentially be an issue. The premise of the show is that the series takes place between Sonic 2 and Sonic 3, and it follows Knuckles the Echidna as he trains Deputy Sheriff Wade Whipple in the ways of an Echidna warrior. So essentially, the biggest fears that a lot of fans had might be coming true is that the show is just Knuckles and Wade playing buddy cop. But even worse than that, instead of choosing to go into some of the Sonic lore and background that could have been in a Knuckles TV show, potentially showing characters like the Chaotix, it seems like the worst fear might be coming true in the sense that the show is not even about Knuckles. According to the Kotaku review that is setting a lot of people off in the internet, they had to say this: this imbalance between Knuckles and Wade's screen time became so stark by the latter half of the season that I scrubbed back through all 6 episodes to break down by minutes and seconds just how much Knuckles is actually in his own show. And folks, Idris Elba is providing the voice work for roughly 76 minutes and 47 seconds of a 172-minute long season. Those are just scenes that Knuckles are in and not necessarily accounting for whether or not he's actually contributing to the scene in a meaningful way. That's less than half of the 6-episode runtime. So in a show titled Knuckles, Knuckles appears for less than half of the runtime of the show and actually takes a back seat to the character Wade. I'm not going to take any bias or any position. I'm just going to present to you guys the information, but Sonic Twitter has reacted, and they have definitely reacted with anger. But this problem gets even more interesting. But let's get into the opinions first. This person says, damn it, they went and focused on the boring ass, irrelevant ass human character. This makes me a lot more worried for Sonic 3. So not only are fans concerned about the Knuckles series, which hasn't even been revealed yet, they're now concerned for Sonic 3. It says, if the damn gun agent is more developed than Shadow the Hedgehog, this movie franchise is in the pits. This person says the Knuckles show has more focus on a human character than Knuckles himself, so either they ran out of CGI budget really quickly or movie 3 is absolutely cooked. Once again, people are now concerned about movie 3. This person says, so the Knuckles show reviews are in, and I still remember how people were like, actually, Wade is just going to be in the first episode. Stop complaining. And it turns out he gets more focused than the title character. This is even worse than Sonic Movie 1. This person says, I had little plans on watching this show out of disinterest, but yet again, it appears my favorite franchise is misleading its audience. Sonic Prime Season 3 when Knuckles on Paramount Plus enters the mid-off. Oh my god. This person says, I hope that one day we get some form of animated film with Sonic and crew because this is not doing it. And no, I don't want a show focusing on this doofus only, talking about Wade. Honestly though, I think Wade's kind of like a funny character for what it's worth. Here's the most damning tweet of them all. This tweet sarcastically says, all of my favorite Sonic characters, yes. And then it shows whoever this is, well, this is Kid Cudi, but like whoever this is to the Sonic universe, whoever this is, and whoever this is. This really kind of encapsulates the issue that people have with it. The people, this is just the wedding scene from Sonic Movie 2 that people heavily criticized all over again. So here's someone who's actually watched the show, because I feel like obviously this may be more important to people who want to watch it. It says, I watched all of Knuckles, and oh boy, does that show pack a mean punch. A show that takes its time to develop two of the franchise's characters and does so in such an effortlessly hilarious way. This is Wade's show just in every way that it's Knuckles' show, and fans will grow to love Wade if they didn't already. The action is amazing, the CGI CGI is on par with the films, Knuckles is not a necessity to watch before Sonic 3, but for sure is a much watch for how funny, entertaining, action-packed, and wholesome it is. So here's the thing, this is where it gets really interesting. So Sonic fans, obviously on Twitter, you know, it's a very small fraction of people. Like I said, I think an active user base of Sonic Twitter, of like people who really engage with Sonic Twitter every day, it's probably like 1,000 to 2,000 people max, in my opinion. So that's just the thing, right? What happens if Sonic fans who, you know, Sonic fans don't really like anything, and there's always discourse and debate, which is a given. What happens when Sonic fans don't like the product, or at least a small section of Sonic fans on Twitter don't like the product, but the reviewers actually enjoy the show? That is where this predicament gets a lot more tricky. So when Knuckles first came out, Rotten Tomatoes had tweeted out that it actually debuted with an 88% score on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, this is a small sample size. So where the show currently sits on Rotten Tomatoes with the reviews, this actually could go up, it could go down, but currently the show is sitting at a 70%. Now, let's put this into context. Where the Knuckles show currently stands right now, the movie actually sits at a higher Rotten Tomatoes score than Sonic Movie 1, which honestly, I hope it does, because Sonic Movie 1 was not that much of a Sonic movie. As of where it stands right now, the Knuckles TV show currently has a higher rating than Sonic Movie 2. Do you see why this gets tricky? Now, like, let's say the review score goes up and it's a show that, you know, clearly doesn't feature Knuckles for more than half the time. What do you do if you're Paramount? If the show reviews pretty decently, but the fans are mad and maybe the show's a big success commercially, financially, whatever the case may be, then what do? Do you listen to the outcry of the fans? Or you just say, hey, we're a big company, we just want our product to review well, and we also want to make a lot of money? I think the company probably would like to appeal to the latter half. And now, like I said before, it looks like we have a big problem on our hands with the Sonic Cinematic Universe. The movies are currently doing well, the Sonic IP is certainly on the rise, and it's been confirmed while I was on vacation, of course, I didn't really get to cover this in a video. The Knuckles producer has talked about plans to expand the Sonic Cinematic Universe. This would mean that potentially more spin-offs and movies are in the works. Now, I've talked about at length that this could be a problem if someone like Jim Carrey doesn't return to the movie franchise as Eggman after movie 3, but if they're trying to expand the cinematic universe at the expense of what some fans on Twitter might say, you could definitely say that they definitely have a problem on their hands. When the Knuckles TV show was first announced, a lot of people were thinking that this could be the opportunity for the movie franchise to actually explore some Sonic backstory and potentially introduce characters like the Chaotix and once again explore the backstory of Knuckles, because it could be really interesting. Hell, even in the Sonic Movie 2 prequel comic where they show Knuckles' backstory, you actually see the Chaotix in the comic. Now, it could just be an Easter egg, which I think that is the case. A lot of fans were upset when this plot synopsis was announced, and now that these reviews are out, Sonic fans have an issue. But as of right now, the show seems to be performing pretty well. I mean, a 70 score is very solid. And I was saying this in the original video that I made a year ago, that the show could not really have much Sonic elements, but let's just say the show is just good. Like, let's say maybe not as much as a Sonic show, but let's just say the show is good. Like, the plot's good, there's good character development, good humor, good action and everything, like people have been saying. The show can be good without being a Sonic show. The only problem is Sonic fans specifically will be upset by this. And to be honest, I would like to see more Sonic characters in the Sonic show, but there's still a chance the show can be good without any of that. And that is where the big issue with the Knuckles show plays in. Now, we're going to see what happens as it unfolds, as reviews come out, and as personally I watch it myself, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'm curious to see what Paramount will do. If the show makes money and it reviews well, I don't think they care what Sonic fans have to say. I don't think anyone does, really. All that matters is the results. But let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comments.